each grape variety has its own specific sugar level that they're looking to achieve. And so Merlot might have one, Cabernet is going to have one, Sauvignon Blanc is going to have one, because what happens is that translates into the sugar that's left in the wine and the alcohol that's left after fermentation. So now what happens, the grapes are going to come in these white bins that are right here. This bin is going to be dumped in the hopper up above me. Grapes are going to go down there, and they're going to go into that machine at the end. Now this thing right here is located inside that. And it's spinning around, and what's happening is it's pulling the individual berries off of the stems.
Wow.
So what we're going to have at the end, the berries drop, individual berries drop down onto this table here, and the stems drop out the back of the machine into the auger, up the chute, and into a waiting truck that goes out into our compost piles, and then eventually into the vineyards back for food. Now the grapes, in this case the white grapes, will come and drop into here, like Sauvignon Blanc. They're back in there, the loose berries. And they're going to go into one of these two machines behind us, which are called bladder presses. Inside there's a big rubber bag, and it's going to inflate very slowly, and it's going to squeeze the grapes. None of the, in the open tubs stomping grapes with our feet. This does it really quickly, and we don't have to get dirty. So this happens really clean, because we don't want to press it too hard and get the bitterness of the skins. So the juice is going to be pumped into these tanks right here, and the skins and everything else are going to drop down, up the chute, into a truck, out to the compost pile, eventually into the vineyards. Now these tanks are stainless steel tanks, and they're jacketed with refrigeration. We can control the temperature of that, because during fermentation it gets really warm. If we don't control it, what ends up happening is that the yeast will burn itself out. And then we're stuck. We have something called a stuck fermentation, which is really bad, because it's not getting all the sugars converted and all the flavors. So what basically is in here at the start is sugar water, because what's in a grape is sugar and water. In order to get alcohol, what's going to happen is, through the yeast that's in the air and on the grape skins, when we crush it here, that yeast is going to go into the juice, and it's going to start this fermentation, a natural fermentation off of with natural yeast. It'll start fermenting in about a couple weeks. It's going to start, the sugars are going to start turning into alcohol. Alcohols are coming up, sugars coming down. What the winemakers will do is, when they know they're getting close to the level that they want, they'll turn off the refrigeration. Once it gets hot, it basically burns itself out. The yeast dies because it got too warm, and we have wine. Now we've got a big tank of Sauvignon Blanc right there. What'll happen is it'll stay in there for another day, and then it'll be drained out and moved to a tank on a different part of the ranch. Now in red grapes, same thing. They're going to go up here, they're going to drop down, they're going to come into these bins, but we're not going to put them into here. Because if at this point we put them into this unit right here, and we squeezed it, we're going to get white juice. We're going to have white Cabernet, or we're going to have white Merlot. We want red Merlot, because the grape skins are purple, but not the juice. So what we have to do is we put them in these units back here. They're stacked up here, and they're all behind us, and there's a big batch of them out there. And that's going to go through, they're going to go through fermentation. So the whole berries go into those units, and over the next 14 to 18 days, every 3 hours, somebody's going to go and punch down the grapes, because the grapes want to float to the top. We'll punch them down into the juice. The coloring is going to start happening. All the great flavors from the skins and everything are going to now become part of the wine. Same thing. Once it gets to the sugar level that they want and alcohol, because these tanks are all, again, regulated, they can refrigerate them and cool them down. They'll stop the fermentation, and then those yeast will be, those skins will now go into here and be crushed and be put into barrels, and then go into the cave. So a little different process, and Chardonnay is done much of the same way as the red grapes, because we want the extra flavor, and the oak aging will help soften the wines out really nicely from doing that. Now we're going to go into the caves, and part of the caves is to remember, underneath this hillside we have 28,800 square feet of caves. We're going in the back door. The front door of the cave is down there.